It is June 29th, 2017, and this is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast. I am Tim Herb. This is Kevin Bradley across from me, and this is not Dan James to my right, to Kevin's left. We have a guest joining us, a recurring guest, Mr.
What do you mean? I'm Kevin.
Our rotating seat.
Yeah. We got Eric Quintana of Mouths of the South, DirtySouthSoccer.com. Thanks for coming over, man.
Sup?
Next he's in your seat.
Huh?
Next he's in your seat, and the whole thing goes off the rails.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want me leading this thing, man.
Yeah. I think we need somebody else manning the helm at this point. I don't think I'm doing a good enough job.
You're just so unprepared.
This
It's
captain
really a
goes
shame.
down with the ship.
It's a real
I just
shame.
wish my my shipman would go down with me.
I'm just so buoyant.
It's
I can't help it.
where I'm really hoping for some loyalty. I get a mutiny instead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to hope for much there.
So we're obviously kind of just bullshitting because we're coming off of a pretty bad game last night. I think they're pretty mixed feelings, though.
Wait. You said a bad game last night?
Well, a bad result.
Bad result.
Bad ending, really, more than anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Okay, so obviously we were in the U.S. Open Cup round of 16 against Miami.
Right.
Hence the whole going to Miami that we were doing. And
we didn't lose as bad as Orlando did.
Yeah.
Suck it, Orlando.
Yeah. We're down at...
we lost to the Kings of the South, apparently.
No. The Kings of the Southeast, he said.
Oh, he did.
He did specify
He at least
Southeast.
Still.
So what is it? He's getting rid of what, Texas?
I'm still offended.
Yeah.
I think Texas is still more south than Miami.
Look, Texas is Texas.
That's true. That's
it's exactly the same thing you say about Florida. Florida's Florida.
Good
It's
point.
not really part of the South. It's
Good point,
Florida.
good point.
Texas is Texas. It's not really part of the United States. It's Texas.
Yeah. So we're going against the almighty Poku last night. He went Kaioken.
Campino and Lahoud.
He went Super Saiyan last night at the end of the game.
The three of them up top, just relentless all night.
So, yeah, we were talking about this and rewatching the game. Miami's pretty much got a washed out MLS squad.
Mhm.
They are, I don't know, they're bottom of the table MLS team.
They're like exactly. They're like a bunch of, at least the players are a bunch of former MLS throwaway. They're ex-MLS athletes. Those are, look, it was as if young talented soccer players were playing up against older guys that clearly didn't have it anymore or have as much of it anymore, but could still play and have that experience. Honestly, I think the experience more than anything was what gave the game to Miami FC.
Yeah,
more than anything.
In the experience or inexperience was the thing that got us so excited going up into the game.
That's the thing that made that game so great, I think, was that you were watching both of those perspectives play out against one another. You knew that, or at least we knew, apparently the announcers didn't, if you listen close enough, that we had our B squad in, or even our C squad at times, against Miami. And it was a really entertaining game. Like, I agree, it's a bad outcome, but overall, I'm very optimistic. Like, Andrew Carleton balled out of fucking control last night, and it was a great game. I was really entertained for 93 minutes. Okay. And the 93rd minute, I was sorely disappointed.
Yeah, so I think there are a couple layers to unpack here, and one of the ones is just how you approach cup play. And I think we can move that towards later in the discussion, because we do typically want to go with positives and negatives. Positive, obviously, was seeing that team sheet an hour before.
Seeing that roster come out, I was so psyched.
So you're right. We went B- squad.
I would say B-,
yeah,
exactly.
Because we still had arguably our best defender in the game, and Leandro Gonzalez-Perez.
Let me throw this out to you. What's the worst possible squad we could have put together? Like, what grade would you give our worst possible squad?
C squad?
C.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say C as well.
Which might have been...
It would be what we ended up with at the end, minus LGP, minus the few.
So basically the C squad plus some of the actual guys.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we have LGP, who's our best defender.
Right. Had LGP, Mears,
Carmona,
who's our worst defender, Carmona, and Gressel, who's kind of floating between starting and
same with Vasquez. I mean, you can see Vasquez has started a few games at this point, right?
Obviously.
So yeah. But that was the most exciting thing. I just realized we have the headphone stuff up. That's why I'm sounding so loud in my head.
I
Can't hear
always
myself.
sound that way.
Yeah.
So
So we had how many sub 20-year-olds? We had 2, right? We had I guess is Anton he's 20 now, right? Did he turn 20?
I think he's 19. I can double check.
what's his face that got subbed in at the end?
Lagos Kunga, who
How old is
actually
he?
he's 18.
He's 20. You're right.
Or
Yeah.
and Lagos Kunga, I think, is 18. Is that right?
So Kunga, Carlton.
He's a
and-
teenager for sure.
Walks,
We just signed him to a contract, sent him out to Charleston Battery, but he was eligible to play last night, so he got some game time in there.
Yeah.
One of the exciting players that Dan was talking about last week that's in our academy. He's 18.
18.
Yeah. So we have and then didn't Miles Robinson play last night?
Honestly, I forget because toward the end of the game I was so tired. Look, it was.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, seeing Andrew Carlton, everybody's been licking their chops to see this 16, now 17-year-old guy come into the game, and he really, I think I said it to Kevin last night. He has this it factor. It's hard to explain other than he just the touches that he gets on the ball are so clean. His instincts are crazy for somebody who's 17 years old, but
He just seemed so calm and played to the pace of the game. Like I know Eric had some beef on one of the runs that he made where he just wasn't like he just held on to it a little bit longer.
It wasn't even beef. It was more than anything. It felt like some of the wingers that Atlanta United plays and it's not just the wingers, it's the entire team. They have the opportunity to go forward and go hard and go fast and go quick. The stuff we've been told this entire preseason leading up to this game that this is what this team's going to be all about. And here's an opportunity for Carlton. And I'm just this one specific instance. I'm picking on Carlton because I just happened to see him do it. He slows down. He had a guy in front of him, sure, and I'm not convinced that he was for sure going to get by him, but at least make the attempt and go by him. And it seems like it's the philosophy of the team to kind of, at least in this U.S. Open Cup game, is to kind of slow it down and not go so fast. And I feel like I've noticed that unless they're pressing high, there is no more going fast.
No,
it's possession. And it's either possession or try to turn them over in the final third. There is no get the ball or counter, but that's a different story because you're in a position obviously to go fast.
So it's kind of like a mismatch or mishmash of like a tiki-taka and then like a gegenpress from Jurgen Klopp, where you're I mean, you're right. I mean,
look, I'm not saying that this team doesn't go fast. There are opportunities where gets the ball, turns and goes. But those opportunities only seem to happen on fast breaks. Those moments can happen on more than just fast breaks. They can happen in when you have 8-9 guys behind the ball. They can still occur. Right. They just don't.
So I think part of that is the way that Atlanta tends to play possession, and that where their possession players end up cracking a cold one open with the boys. Where you see those possession players tend to end up falling on the pitch, where Mears and Garza are always on the opposite 18, it seems like, rather than being back. So that doesn't lend itself to a quick counter because they're not back there to do that. And they're either playing back, and that leaves Atlanta susceptible to those quick counters from the opposite perspective. Or you have Carlton back inside the 18 making tackles, and he's leading the charge for a counter independently, and you can't do that. And then, like you said, the rest of the team isn't pushing up to support him, and he has no choice but to slow down the pace to the rest of the team. We saw the same thing whenever Kenwin was in, where his pace did not allow the rest of the support team around him to push those counters as quickly.
No, I mean, you have to pick and choose those moments because you can expect this team to go, all 11 players to go, balls to the wall for 90 minutes. You can't expect them to have that kind of fitness. But at the same time, take the opportunities when you can. I mean, you're not asked to do that the entire game either.
Absolutely. That said, I think the team played really competitively. They pressed high the bulk of the game, and it was good, and it seemed to work for the most part. It did leave a lot of open play in the midfield as a result of that, I'd say. And arguably, as a result of that open play in the midfield, that's what led to what's his name?
Heath?
No. Starts with a P. The
main
guy.
Pino.
Poku's goal, where McCann gives up the ball in the midfield and nobody's back to support, and they just get out of position with Pino right there to feed the ball off to.
By the way, if you want to hear some awful commentary,
so bad.
Not only was
this podcast may be bad, but that is just awful.
Like not only that the entire 90 minutes of that 93 whatever of that broadcast was bad, but specifically when it came to that goal, because they never once, and I mentioned this to you before we started the show. not once did the broadcasters mention the fact that Poku did a great job of taking the ball off McCann. McCann had time, he had space, he had players to play it to. He just didn't and lost the ball. Not once did they mention that.
Yeah.
They were pretty comical, I guess, to say the least.
And as Brittany S says, they're very much pro Miami that entire broadcast. That couldn't have been more.
I mean, that's how these things are set up.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Longshore and Schick weren't necessarily homers for the Charleston Battery game, but not exactly. At least to the standard.
So let me go to a couple of the YouTube things that we've had coming in. Kevin Brown, our resident traveling Atlanta fan, says that Carlton and Vasquez were definitely his pros, and we scored on a set piece. I mean, we can't overlook that. That's a huge plus.
It's our first set piece goal of the game, or goal of the year, right? Aside from yeah, and then I guess Jacob Peterson scored on a header against Minnesota on a corner, right?
No,
it was a header. I'm pretty sure it was on a corner. I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. It's been so long since
I think it was more in the run of play because I feel like we would have made a bigger deal out of it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Pierce Hicks comments, Andrew Carlton loved how he picked the ball up and attacked defenders in a style that Tito and Assad don't. That's going to be a larger discussion that I think warrants itself based off of Eric's comments as we were doing the rewatch. Nick Lazo says, yeah, that's what was keeping this team from being great. They need to pick up the speed of the pass. Mears does this a lot by slowing down the play of the ball. William McClaney says, I hope they watch the Confederation Cup and how Germany passes the ball. Truly impressive. Yeah, I mean, everybody seems to be in agreement that Carlton was a huge plus, Vasquez a huge plus. And I think that what these games do bring is some competitive nature to the starting lineup, and it gives these players a chance to show why they're on this team, either on the bench or otherwise, and plead their case. And I think that that's interesting in that we're not having to do so because of injury, and it's sort of a free opportunity to do that looking forward to the rest of this season and truly see how much depth we've got.
Yeah, they almost serve as tryouts. I mean, I watch a lot of EPL, huge Liverpool fan, obviously, and there are, at least 2 cup competitions that these teams play, and that's the main reason you get tryouts for the rest of the season. It's that you get to see where your depth actually lies. I mean, we're not going to be looking at Andrew Carlton to be a starter, I don't think. Probably at least until
I think you're hoping he might become a piece off the bench.
Right, exactly. I mean,
I think he showed his worth.
Yeah, same with Vasquez. I think Vasquez has shown the same thing. But as Kevin was saying, I mean, it's not through injury. And we know now if injuries are to come that we have the ability to put these youngsters in the game.
I mean, think about all the players that have played over the past 2 cup games that we've, and subsequently just the schedule that Atlanta's had. It's
aside from Harrison Heath.
Yeah, that's true. That's been the big thing on the YouTube stream is how everybody is like, imagine how bad Heath feels today.
Yeah. What I was just gonna say, imagine how excited he was that he got his name called and he's gonna play just to ruin it.
Yeah. He only had like 1 or 2 touches leading up to that.
Here's the thing though. Here's my. I told you guys I had a conspiracy theory. Yeah. Here we go. Who is Harrison Heath's dad?
Adrian Heath. Coach
Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger, right?
Whoa. We still Mary Kate Olsen. No, so yeah, Adrian Heath, the manager up in Minnesota United.
Where did he coach last year?
Orlando.
Oh.
I wonder Harrison Heath
isn't
some super secret soccer spy on Atlanta United's team to sabotage their season, sabotage their U.S. Open Cup run. And he did an excellent job of that.
Oh, yeah. Guys, I don't know if you know. I mean, speaking of conspiracy theories, the refs at last night's game did not bring their red cards.
No.
The announcers made that very well known anytime that Atlanta only got a yell.
The last thing I want to do is defend these guys, but McCann's challenge was certainly a straight red.
No, I agree with that. That was ugly. I was saying that today at the office. That McCann challenge was really bad. Yeah.
No, but see, I looked at that game overall and I thought you saw what you wanted to see out of the young guys.
Right.
Carlton, Vasquez, Gressel, Kratz.
Even Kratz, again.
The guys you didn't see play well are the guys that aren't going to be on this team next year.
No, that's absolutely true.
Mears was okay, fine, but he's playing against lower competition. Let's see him get
True.
consistent.
Yeah, it was his
for a
best game in
change.
a while. Yeah.
That's
Let's
true.
see him get consistent for a change in
Against some
MLS play.
legitimate competition.
But McCann, sorry, Ganor McCann, his
Mhm.
wife. Apparently, she attacks people on Twitter.
Ooh,
Like she's very vocal.
Oh,
she's
she's
very
coming
defensive
after
of her
Home Before Dark.
very
You
defensive.
guys
of,
shout her out. Make sure you mention us on the show.
of her husband.
Trying to get those iTunes comments. And
No,
reviews.
But look,
We'll read it out on the show.
McCann's more likely than not going to be here next year. Who else am I thinking of?
Kenwin Jones isn't going to be here next year.
Kenwin Jones. I mean, he obviously didn't play last night, but he's not going to be here next year. Heath.
They're
I have a
saying
hard time believing he's going to be there next year. Who else didn't play well? I'm trying to think. That's it. I mean, Walks may or may not be here next year, but that's not because
I think he had an okay game. I think he had a good
thought he
game
was
against.
fine. I mean, the set piece. I would argue that he just kind of let his man go.
he did.
Look, I've
but-
always been told just get in the way of your guy.
Right.
Make his path to wherever he wants to go as difficult as
well,
possible.
not just that. You need to be in between him and the ball, and he just completely neglected.
Oh,
that
laid
fact.
that shit.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Yeah, that's I think Anton Walks will end up going back to England. He'll probably get loaned out again to some other lower club in England that needs a center back or center defensive mid. Yeah, I think that's really it though, right?
But yeah, the true focus and depth of the youth of Atlanta, and you can throw Kratz in there.
Oh,
They played
absolutely.
well. They played well, and that's
Andrew Carlton was just
honestly
such-
that's
to see him play for 90 minutes.
Lagos Kunga. The minutes he had, he was great.
Absolutely,
he was fine.
Absolutely.
I think he looked a little nervy at first. I'll say.
That's
Oh,
fine. 'cause
definitely.
that was
but
his
he
big
calmed
first
down.
big moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely did.
he I think my only criticism of him, and it's there it goes.
Oh God, that one was in there tight.
Yeah. It's a little unjust is that he was a little he took too many touches on the ball around the box. I felt like he put himself he put himself in good positions and then he played himself out of it. But yeah, it was good to see him on the field regardless. Andrew Carlton to me has that same instinct that Joseph Martinez has, where you could see him latch onto a ball where you could see he gets control of the ball before he's ever even on it. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it other than that. And his ability to run off of people, just his I don't know. It's because he's been playing in an academy since he was little, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Not only that, but
he plays it to me. He
I'm
has
really-
the same qualities to me as Pulisic.
same like those underlying qualities
Exactly.
that make
Yeah,
him
like
maybe
intangibles
not-
that
exactly,
you can't.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the things that I don't know if you ever heard Arsene Wenger talk about. If you don't have it by the time you're 14, you're never gonna have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's got it.
He's fucking got it. Yeah, that Orange Crush. But I mean the unsung teenager on this team. I don't know, maybe not in recent weeks, but Brandon Vasquez has been, to me, for somebody who's 18, who's been asked to play a
Mhm.
position that's not necessarily his natural position. I think that he's actually been better on the wing than he has as a forward.
I agree. It's just what you do with. I mean, if he can develop as a winger, as tall as
It's
he is,
scary,
he's gonna be
dude.
so versatile.
It's Breck Shea without the crazy speed and hopefully without the decline and skill. Yeah.
It's funny. Listen, like I had a chance to interview him after the last game, and he sounds like an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, it does the typical
Yeah. And he's from California.
yeah.
Too,
I mean, he sounds like a teenager.
like
he
a
sounds
valley
like
girl. Yeah.
No, he sounds like he's in high school for
Yeah.
sure, and it's kind of crazy to think, man, this guy just played in front of 45,000 players.
Yeah.
Or
And
fans.
he played for Tijuana last year, right? He and
The U20
Garza.
team, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I think if I
Yeah,
remember
that
right.
makes more sense. I know they were talking about that last night. I can't take anything those guys were saying seriously. But the one thing I would say stood out. Remember one of your hot takes from a few months ago about putting Gressel up front. And I know you were joking about it. He doesn't look great up front.
And honestly, here's why it wasn't as upset about the loss last night as I thought I might have been, is because when I saw him on top, and I was like, all right, well, Tata's just trying stuff,
Yeah.
which means that they don't fully. I'm not gonna say they don't care, because they want to obviously advance in this tournament and develop their youth players and get far in the tournament. But with the schedule that Atlanta United has, and I got into an argument with someone about this, with the tight schedule Atlanta United has right now, with an MLS, with US Open Cup, it's really hard for them to focus on both. And I was one of the big proponents of Atlanta United going after US Open Cup hard, because that's the easiest trophy you can get, because a lot of the teams in MLS don't take it seriously. If you're one of the teams that does put out your starting 11 week after week or match after match, then that's an opportunity for you to go get a trophy year one. That's all I cared about. Get a trophy year one. No one's going to care about losing this game if you win if you win the MLS Cup.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously.
No.
Since they have that very constricted, very compressed a number of games in a certain number of days, that made it very difficult. And so I don't blame them for playing the kids. I don't blame them for not playing the starters, because Atlanta United honestly should have advanced. They should have. They didn't. And I give props to Miami FC. You didn't beat Atlanta United. You beat Atlanta United B.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can be proud of that. You can take that for what it's worth. You advance in a tournament that ultimately most of MLS, except Chicago Fire, last night at least, and Atlanta United just didn't see the level of importance that they put on. They put more importance on MLS Cup than getting into the playoffs, performing well in regular season than they do MLS Cup or US Open Cup this year. Next year, when the schedule opens up a little bit and it's more balanced, then you can approach the US Open Cup with more, we want to go after this thing hard.
I agree. So this brings up a bigger discussion that I wanted to get into that you actually mentioned, which is that you thought that nobody's starting position, particularly Villalba's position, should be secured, that they should be vying for it week after week. And I think
him and Mears,
yeah, and Mears as well. And I think games like this open up that discussion far more than just a week in, week out. You have the same starting 11, and you're not wanting to take those risks and put those players in there and expose yourself in league play to falling to another opponent by taking such a big risk. And I think that what this game does is definitely pose that question. So that said, who all stood out in a way that you think or you hadn't thought about before, and what positions are you looking at now that people can start rotating in out? That's also sort of the discussion that's been going on YouTube, which is that people are saying that Vasquez should be starting over Villalba, so on and so forth, about how great Carlton played, how some people are even saying, they hope that Carlton goes out to Europe because that would be the best place for him to go. I'd hate to see that happen because
– yeah, relax. He's got time.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got time.
But yeah, Dean Worley says, I think Vasquez should start or could start over Tito. People also agreeing with the comments about Gressel. I thought Gressel was okay up top. It wasn't his standout performance.
It wasn't.
I think he just got out of position and he had little support or just made really very bad plays. We saw the same thing against Columbus where he gets a ball, he lifts his head up, sees Almiron's running on goal, and then puts his head down once he enters the 18 and doesn't lift it back up until he takes a shot on goal. And it's this gray area shot where it's like, was he shooting or was he passing to Almiron? And I think it was more a shot than a pass, but
it's like a really weird shot with the inside of his foot too.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't take it with the outside, but
I mean, I honestly thought it looks like he shoots, and as soon as he realized that shot's so
he
bad,
just blames it on Almiron.
He just goes, well, guys, where were you? Come on, get on the other end of that.
Because what we're talking about, that's his play. That's his super move. That's his finishing move. Right.
Absolutely.
Is that cross across?
And it's just
finish him.
And it's all feel, which is what's so impressive. Is that, I mean, the angle that he has to make those assists that he's been doing in MLS play, where again he's in the same position, he doesn't lift his head up more times than not. It's a 1 or 2 touch, and it just goes across his body and is completely on target every time. He just feels that out. But we saw that kind of falter a little bit against Columbus, I thought. So
he had a great run. That was a breakaway last night. He just dribbled himself out of it.
Yeah.
It's just not his natural position.
No, it's definitely not.
Here's the thing. That's the exact same thing Tito would have done.
It's true. Yeah.
That said, I mean, I think Tito, so let's open up this discussion about Tito specifically, because I know that was your comment. But that said, before we get into that, he has the goal against Columbus. We can talk about Columbus a little bit. I think we've kind of beat the Miami game a good bit. But Columbus game and in games the past 3 or 4 weeks, one of the big issues I had about him was his placement of the ball in one-on-one positions with the keeper, and I've seen it get substantially improved week in and week out. And we saw that again this week, where he waited until the keeper made his move and made his angle opposite of where he wanted to place the ball. Then he takes the shot, secures the goal.
You're talking about against Columbus?
Yes, against Columbus, right?
Yeah,
sorry,
because we are talking about leading up into the Columbus game.
Exactly.
If he was successful, which he was against Columbus, do you still trot him out there, given that he didn't play great against Colorado?
I do. I mean, he's clearly the better choice than Villalba on the wing. Look,
wait, were you talking about?
I'm talking about Villalba right now.
Oh, my bad. Okay,
you're talking about putting Gressel out there.
I'm talking about putting Gressel out there.
Yeah.
To me, it's not a discussion. To me, if you're going to. Tata said this earlier this year that the amount of money you make doesn't matter. I mean, look at Kenwin Jones, McCann. They both make, I want to say, over $400,000.
Yeah.
There are players that make less on the field. Gressel himself makes less, and he plays on the field. If you're going to truly test that, you got to put Gressel out wide in Tito's spot because he's clearly the better winger. Tito is great when he's got. Did I say Tito on the wing? No, Gressel over Tito on the wing.
Yeah.
Tito is great when he can run onto the ball and he's got space around him because he can use his speed. When he's not able to use his speed and he has to beat a guy one-on-one, he's better.
Like, he's better
not
as
great.
No, he's better as a high school number 9, if you know what I mean, where he is using his speed.
The ball over the top.
Exactly. Yep. It's an air through ball, and he's just on it. I think he has gotten better and more composed in the box, which is good. I think he had some great shots against. I think it was Columbus, and yeah, he almost slotted home another. I think opposite 90 curling effort with his left foot. He's not even left-footed, is he?
No,
I think he's right-footed.
He's right-footed. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I agree. I think you stick with Gressel, but I think that Villalba's much better served as a replacement or a substitution for Martinez than he is for even for Almiron than he is for playing out on the wing. I've said this since the beginning. He's not a winger.
No.
Well, see, and if you're looking at using him as a sub, you're probably in a position to win the game. The back line is pushing up. They're stretched out. They're trying to score, get back into this game. That way you have more opportunities to lob the ball over the top to a guy like Tito.
Right.
You don't have that when you're trying to play against a team that bunkers and he can't take a guy one-on-one.
No.
Let alone, I mean, here's the thing. When he's congested, he's going to lose the ball every single time. At least Martinez, he's got the good footwork inside. Yamil Asad the same way. Almiron the same way. Villalba just doesn't have that.
No. And I think that's where
I'm not saying like that's not me saying he needs to go.
No, absolutely not.
Certainly develop that over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But right now he doesn't have it.
But that begs a bigger question though. If he's going to be playing on the bench and if he's going to be playing second fiddle as a backup number 9, he's a DP.
You buy him out next year and with Tam and Gam and you go sign another DP.
Yeah. I mean, I would.
That's the logical thing that I think most people would do. He's only a young DP, so he's not that big of a salary cap hit or as big as a salary cap hit.
I mean, as a side note, how good is it to be in this position where
we're talking about this
exactly
stuff? Yeah.
Where Martinez being back and the play that we've seen out of everybody over these past 5-6 weeks since Martinez's injury, plus the Gold Cup play, like we're seeing all of these players rotate in and out, and we're seeing them grow and develop. And now we're having legitimate conversations about whether or not like our DPs are even valuable to us because we have better talent that's just signed already.
For a team that plays one forward, it's not necessarily so smart to me to waste 2 DP slots on 2 forwards.
Who's the other forward? Villalba forward, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
I don't see
him as a forward. I see him as a winger.
But
in every sense of the word.
I guess he's not a traditional winger to me, though.
He's a midfielder that gets really high up the field.
Yeah, but he doesn't have. Yeah, and I think Asad is just so much more valuable because, and I can't believe I would have said this. I wouldn't have said this weeks ago, but just the way that Asad attacks the ball and the way that he draws fouls is ridiculous. He does it at the rate of Luis Suarez. I haven't seen another player other than Luis Suarez that gets fouled, legitimately fouled too. Asad has the same reputation as Suarez where he dives, but at the same time, 90% of the time he's actually taking contact. But Villalba, and I might be quoting you when you're talking about he runs on railroad tracks.
Yeah,
he doesn't. He has no lateral movement.
That's my issue with him because Gressel at least. Look, if you don't have that, because Gressel doesn't have lateral movement either, and he's definitely not as quick as him. But what he can do is cross the ball or put his team in dangerous positions or be in dangerous positions. Villalba more often than not loses the ball in the final third.
Yeah.
And I mean, people defend him, and I just think, man, don't look at the numbers specifically. Or if you're going to look at the numbers, you need to find one specific number is what his touches are in the final, or what I guess the numbers of what his touches are and what his non-turnover ratio is or whatever it is. In the final third, what is he like? What does he do in the final third that is productive to this team, that puts this team in better positions to be more dangerous, to attack, to go to goal, whatever? And Gressel does that more often than Villalba does.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a tale of 2 different players whenever you look at games where like Toronto, where he's in Joseph Martinez's position as opposed to being on the right wing.
Right. And so that's the difference maker, is that's where Villalba's been much more consistent and productive, is where he is in Martinez's role whenever Martinez was out. And I agree to that fact. Pierce Hicks has a good point, though. Like, the impact of the team on the team of whether or not it's Gressel or Tito is relatively small in his opinion. And I would tend to make the same argument. Like, we're not winning or losing games based off of the right wing. Like, they've both got limitations. They both have pros and cons, and that expands this conversation, which, again, there are other positions on this team like Mears, which we've beat to death at this point.
Have we, though? Have we beat it enough? He actually didn't play. He didn't play so poorly against Miami, but as to Eric's point, it was, subpar competition.
But I think there's enough other inconsistencies in positions around the pitch. I mean, so what about Carmona? What about the Carmona-Kratz conversation?
So to me,
does that beg having?
Yeah, yes, it does. I actually wanted to go back to this because this, to me, was the same discussion that I had after the DC game,
right,
where Carmona doesn't play, suspended.
Exactly.
And you see Kratz. It was right. Carmona wasn't playing for DC. Was it the DC game that he was?
Regardless,
suspended?
it was a game. It was a game. I remember.
DC was suspended, right?
I'm thinking.
So. Yeah.
Who cares what the game is? But I know what you're talking about.
Suspended DC, came back in Colorado.
Yeah, exactly. So we missed him that game.
Yes.
Where you put a more attacking player in Kevin Kratz in Carmona's role, where Carmona is a box-to-box player.
Right.
And Carmona's tackling all over the field. He's getting the ball back constantly.
Exactly.
He's picking up the slack for the whenever the center backs are out of position, which is more often than not these days. And you saw that again last night, where you don't have Lorenowitz in the game, and you have Carmona, who's having to play a more of a holding role, and you have Kratz, who's not playing the box-to-box role like Carmona. So that, to me, the way that we play, you need somebody. You need a holding midfield that's staggered.
Right.
I think that.
So where does Kratz fit into that? Because I think he definitely has an advantage. He's got a great touch. He's great on free kicks. He's great on corners. I think he can play. I mean, he's great in that attacking position. His challenge sets up Joseph's goal 2 weeks ago. Like I said, he's a bulldog, but I agree. You need some sort of holding midfield, and that's not really him.
I think his role is he's a great sub for Carmona.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
or even Almiron. I think he's
even Almiron.
Yeah. I think he does a good job of pressing. The Kratzkrieg, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that.
So let's attack the defense now, because everybody else does, meaning teams that we play against. Let's get a set piece against our defense right now.
So he talked about Anton Walkes being at fault for that goal, and I meant to say,
I mean, we can pull that back further. Carmona does the two-legged tackle, seemingly out of nowhere.
What I was going to say is that what defender on our team at this point hasn't been at fault for not jumping on a corner or not stepping in front of somebody, or even midfielder for that matter? Yamil Asad too.
Yeah.
Christian Perez did it both in one game, I think, on the same play.
Yeah. Man, yeah.
Mears might actually be the only one that isn't at fault for not defending well on a set piece.
It's because he's never in position. He's at the 50.
I'm trying. I see that again. Now that I think about it, Garza may not have been in those positions.
Yeah,
either.
That's true. Nobody's. Yeah, I think you probably.
I guess if you are going to attack us, a back line, you're going to attack the center.
Yeah.
Defensive.
To me, Garza is the only consistent player on our defense week in, week out. I think that he knows.
Who's that?
Garza.
I think it's because he's asked. Here's the thing. Look, if Tata Martino could have his way, I'm sure he's going to find a way to find. I don't know what it's going to take, what it's going to mean, but I have a feeling he's going to find a way to find the right back he wants. Because Garza's doing, I think, exactly what Tata Martino wants on that left side.
He's playing his Jordi Alba that he had in Barcelona, right?
Mears is not. Yeah.
No, Mears definitely.
No, he needs his
And
Dani Alves to his Jordi Alba.
So can we all agree that Parkhurst and Mears are the weakest links on the backfield?
Yeah,
Yes,
and I think you're going to notice that the rest of the season is that people are going to attack that left side
Absolutely.
as hard as they can.
Absolutely. And that's what I think we've seen take place over the past 4 weeks now. So that said,
Bloom needs to be playing.
I still think
Zach
I like
Lloyd.
Well, I see that.
I don't know what's going on with Zach Lloyd, but I think I want to see it.
I want to know that. Yeah, I want to know the same thing, because you saw him play against Charleston Battery, and then I haven't seen him on a team sheet since.
I haven't heard anything about him since.
Yeah,
no,
and he played really
he's
well.
Injured.
Yeah,
See, I thought so too. I thought he played him and Vasquez on that right side. I thought
They linked
Oh
up
my
really
gosh,
well.
this is really good.
Yeah, and he's a veteran. I mean, I think he played. What did Dan say? He played over 100 games for Dallas.
Yeah.
I think.
So let's talk about Bloom and
Ambrose.
no, started.
I like
over,
Mikey Ambrose, dude.
Mears and started over. Not Mears. Damn it, I'm getting all confused. I'm like reading YouTube comments and trying to juggle names. Bloom and other dude that started over Mears recently.
Shouldn't have opened that bottle, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, Anton Walks.
Walks. There we go. Jesus.
Okay,
Let's
so
talk about Bloom and Walks.
I know you're a staunch defender of Anton Walks, and I thought that he played just fine against Colorado.
I'm not a staunch defender. I
I
thought
know.
he played better than Mears did on that right side.
No, yeah, and I know that he was getting a lot of hate. To me, and it's okay for me that he looks a little lost or he doesn't have the touch whenever he comes into the final third, because he did a great job, I think, of covering, and I think he did. So where Mears can attack and he's got more speed than Anton Walks, obviously, he doesn't do a good enough job covering. And I thought Anton Walks was good in the back. I don't know that I like him at right back, though. I would not mind seeing him maybe even subbed in for Lorenowitz. Subbed in or playing in a fill-in role for Lorenowitz if he's ever hurt. But I think that you need Mark Bloom out there. I mean, you saw him shut down Piatti up in Montreal. And then
I think Piatti scored, like crossing face, I think.
No, Piatti didn't score, did he?
I think he did. Hold on.
So unprepared.
Let me double check. Look, if I'm wrong, I'm the idiot. So hold on.
I'll play the idiot role. Okay, so I mean, again, I think we're all in agreement. Parkhurst and Mears are the weak links. Walks.
No, Piatti scored a PK, and then
you know what? You might be right.
The young kid who was scoring in the stoppage time every single week. I can't remember the guy's name. Jackson. He was a substitute who came in and played forward. No. Bloom kept Piatti in check that entire game. He was frustrating him. He didn't play. He played well to me, other than giving up the goal in Portland. And Ridgewell was offside anyway. But
honestly, it doesn't matter to me who plays over Mears. I do think that we should start seeing more of these guys. Honestly, the fact that Walks had a shot over Bloom in against Charleston is surprising, because you assumed, because Bloom has played in MLS competition, that he would be the next guy up. We haven't seen him since.
True.
He played last night, didn't he?
Yeah, he played last night.
But
not in MLS.
But we haven't seen him much more than that.
Yeah, I would have thought I thought we would have saw him against Colorado last weekend.
I agree with that.
But to that point, I don't care. I think you're right. I feel the same. I don't care who comes in. I think Mears stays on the bench, though.
Right, and that's what a lot of people are saying is, who was that? Pierce Hicks, again, right back is our only realistic major need this summer. We can squeeze through this season with Parkhurst, and I agree with that. I think getting Mears remedied and with somebody that's significantly improving that back line and at least playing in position. I could care less about both back ends running up 18 to 18 like Garza and Mears are doing, because Mears has been so inconsistent in doing so. If Garza's filling that role, and at least we've got a defender that's playing space and playing position, like what we saw Walks do. Like, Walks wasn't wildly successful running up to the other end of the pitch. Like, he was there and he made a couple of plays, but overall he was at least playing in position for most of that game. And that's what I would rather have out of a defender than that other opportunity, and let that midfield and top end shift as a result of that.
My bigger problem with Mears is that, look, you can be bad defending as long as you're contributing something to the attack, and Mears is not.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
You can be subpar, you can be okay defensively as a right back, but if you're adding to the attack, then fine, I'll let that slide. Be like, all right, well, he's a liability defensively, but look at all the good he does otherwise.
Yeah.
He's got so many assists. He's scored the occasional goal. He has the occasional hockey assist or whatever. He does these things. He puts his teams in dangerous positions. But I mean, oftentimes we see out of Mears, he passes the ball back. His crosses go a mile over everyone.
Exactly.
And it's the same story every game.
Or he gets the ball, like against Miami, he plays the ball out of the backfield, takes open space, and then just abuses it and runs it all the way up inside the other 18. and is crowded by 3 defenders before he decides to play the ball off, and it just goes out of bounds. Like, he's just not being strategic with his play, and that's really, really frustrating to see, specifically for a player that's playing end-to-end like he and Garza are being requested to do.
Yeah. So to Eric's point, he doesn't add to the offense, but the problem is he tries to add to the offense. He doesn't know his
That's
strengths.
a great way of putting it.
Yeah. He doesn't know his strengths or his weaknesses.
Jay Riddle, what's up, man? Mears in one word, predictable.
Yeah.
I'd say that. Jay Riddle, for those of you guys that don't know, we're going to have him on the show soon. Been meaning to reach out to you, buddy. We'll get you in here soon. Hopefully we can keep Dan out of here. It's just the worst.
Somebody was asking in the comments where Dan was. He had some sort of...
Deported.
Yeah, he's deported.
Fingers crossed.
I swear, Dan, if you're watching this, I'm going to be so pissed. No, yeah, I saw that Pierce was talking about Mikey Ambrose wishing he was right-footed. I don't know, man. Play that German winger style, but play it with your fullbacks where you have the opposite-footed person on the wings. So
we've worked all the way back from top end to back. Last one, week in and week out. We're getting closer. What are your thoughts? Now that seeing him play against Miami, another game against Colorado where he had a great game against Colorado, I thought. Think towards the end of
saved the game against Colorado.
I think towards the end of the Miami, he looked a little shaky, seemed out of position in a couple moments, but overall, pretty good. I mean, he's the one player that's played every game so far, right?
I'm actually starting to lean towards the
Guzan.
No.
Let's see who we got in Guzan.
Okay.
I'm not solely convinced that he's going to be the answer because, look, if here's the thing. I'm not saying Can could have done anything differently to save the goals. Look, the first goal was just great ball movement.
Yes.
Great pass.
There's nothing he could have done
takeaways.
Second goal, I can put more on walks.
Which one was it? Yeah, sure. There's
That's
nothing.
a
lot of these goals you can't really do much about.
That last goal, though, he was.
That I don't blame on him much either because I mean that's
just
a great shot.
It's a great shot.
Slow roller.
But he just did not seem in any sort of position to challenge that whatsoever. And I would have liked to see him play a little bit more. That said, he had some great challenges throughout the game and came up with a couple really big saves like he does week in and week out.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen enough negative out of him to warrant a Guzan. I would like to see an open competition play out week in and week out where Tata is rotating in, Can starting first half. First half. Where the fuck did that accent come from?
From Wisconsin. No, we got another conspiracy theory. Kevin's with Minnesota FC.
So Can starting first half, and then Guzman coming in second half, and then rotating that out weekend for at least a couple weeks. I don't know.
This isn't high school. We can't waste the
I
summer.
I know you can't. But still, I would like to see some opportunity for that to play.
No, but I don't.
When does Guzan come in officially?
After the Gold Cup.
After the Gold Cup, yeah.
Okay.
He's been training with Atlanta United. I think officially July 12th is when he's on the roster.
Something like that.
I think
the transfers all become final.
Yeah.
The secondary transfer window opens on the 12th. Is that right? Is that what's going on?
That I don't know. Maybe I think on the 10th, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, it's something like that. The rules are weird. But no, I just don't. I'm ready to see something else because I think that most of the goals that are scored against Can are products of bad defending, which I think we can all agree with. Most of those goals are bad defending, and
everyone's like, "Yeah, last goal is all he."
Yeah, but can he do a little more? Can do a little more, and I just don't. I need to see someone else in goal for that to look. Last night with FC Cincinnati and Chicago Fire, Hildebrand was standing on his head. I'm not saying Can should have those kind of performances, but we've never seen Can in any kind of moment like that.
That's
Maybe
true.
once or twice the
That's
entire
true.
season. We haven't seen him come up with the big saves.
I haven't seen anything out of the few moments I've watched Guzan competitively where he's shown that much either, though.
Fine, let's see how he does. Let's see.
How is that a fair assessment?
He's coming to a new team. He's coming on a team where.
So he's just going to all of a sudden be a different player?
The back line isn't better.
Exactly. It's not better than what he's already got. So how the fuck is this even a conversation right now?
Right now, it isn't the best. Let me change that. It isn't the best.
Make any sense to me whatsoever.
I think it's better than what he had in Europe.
Is it not the same? Like, if we're going to speculate in that way, is it not also a fair assessment to say, well, Can's got real competition coming in and he hasn't made these plays, so now maybe all of a sudden he will?
Here's the thing, though, but
because you're still speculating on a player playing completely differently than they are currently.
I agree. 75% of the goals, though, I think that has been scored on Can, I think have been completely. There's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly.
25%, I have seen nothing that would indicate that he can make those big saves.
But what about Guzan's goals?
5% of the time. But see, we're looking at Guzan and shrinking his career into the really
the most relevant season
of
his fucking career.
Yes,
I'm gonna do that.
The one game where he said where three balls goes through his legs. When is that ever gonna happen again?
The first fucking game he starts for Atlanta with Michael.
Look, listen, I will come back on this podcast. The first time he gets met.
If that happens, you're never coming back on this podcast.
Guys. You guys are too loud. Gotta calm it down. No, I can see where you're coming from, though, Eric. You could see it. Can has not been spectacular, right? And again,
he's done enough to get us through this portion of the season.
I think I saw that in the comments section. He's been a B+, which isn't a slight against him. But your expectation of Brad Guzan is probably the same that Tata's is that he's a seasoned professional who's going to be able to come in and play a mostly mistake-free game. My thing is that in what's not helping Can, I don't know if he's getting the yips, but his distribution has been lacking the past few weeks.
And that's what people are saying on YouTube.
Yeah. Where his distribution was so much better.
Absolutely.
You started getting pretty comfortable with him on the ball, but lately
the very first couple of weeks and the last couple of weeks have been.
Some of that's also
that
to blame.
Middle part was good.
Some of that's also to blame on the defense. I would say Parkhurst putting him in that position. It happened the same thing in Miami. We got lucky against Miami that the ball was played out, but the defense putting him in those positions to have to play the ball out quickly whenever he's got double pressed. I don't put that on Can. Like, he played it out, but I think some of that's on the defense. I agree. His distribution skills whenever he's actually got the ball has been lacking, but the defense relying on him so much isn't on him.
You see this a lot in Europe, though, where you have a keeper who's okay for your team's not great, and then they bring somebody else in, and that person automatically gets to start over them. And so, I mean, to go back to Liverpool, just because I watched them so much, they brought in a young keeper in Loris Karius because Mignolet was making terrible mistakes and letting in a lot of goals, and they thought Karius was going to be the solution. And then a couple weeks later, Mignolet comes back in. It could be the exact same thing here. I hope it's not, just for our sake, I hope we just don't drop points. I don't care if Guzan's starting. I don't care if Can's starting at this point. I just need something consistent, something solid. The only thing that I hope doesn't happen is if Guzan gets brought in, it brings down the morale or any kind of chemistry gets disrupted in this team.
Look, we could end up after the Gold Cup. I might watch the entire Gold Cup and think, nope, I want Can. Nope. And
that's what everybody's saying. We've at least got the Gold Cup to see where
you get a preview of what you got.
Right.
Officially.
And I agree. Like, I think
he was great against Mexico. He was all right, but I mean, Mexico's also a pretty good team. So
right.
I don't know.
I do think he can make those saves that I've been looking, like those oh my gosh, that was a fantastic save. When was the last time you saw that from Can?
That's a good point.
And that's what I mean. That extra.
I don't know. I take that back. The double save that he had where he took the knee to the fucking face.
Yeah, no,
against DC. Yeah.
That was the one great game he's had.
I don't know if that'd be the one great game he's had.
I thought that.
As an overall performance,
most recent.
Maybe. I think that's the one great game he's had. Otherwise, it's been he's had a few moments here and there.
He saved us 2 points against Colorado at the end of the game.
I'm not taking away from the moments he has had, but when you look at a complete game performance, the Columbus game was the best complete game he's had.
True, yeah.
And but that's just one game.
He's playing against maybe the best attack we've seen all season, right?
Villalba had a brace, and
that was one game. He only had the one. Oh, yeah.
You're talking about against
Toronto, yeah.
Yeah, and he hasn't been great since.
So we got about 15 minutes left. So as in every episode, Orlando, garbage.
Not the South.
Not the South.
Not the South. Does anybody know where that Teespring?
What about the Southeast?
Southeast will allow, because it doesn't. Southeast has no culture, just like Orlando.
Let's see. Did anybody end up buying that Teespring Orlando's Not the South shirt? Got cycled around.
I feel bad because I know it's a listener to the show, but I kind of wanted to make a better design, something a little bit.
Did you see
more.
it at all? Did you see the shirt?
Can I saw the shirt. I have to ruin your parade a little bit.
What's that?
Was it you?
I have audio evidence that the Mounds of the South
Started
the Orlando's Not the South.
Oh shit!
Well, fuck me.
Yeah.
Oh Christ!
I'm just kidding. You guys can have it. I don't
This
care. I
ruins
just
everything.
wanted to
No, this
ruin.
ruins
I wanted to ruin
everything.
your night for
This
it.
ruins everything.
This ruins everything.
You're definitely never coming back on.
Oh,
I feel like I don't even know myself anymore.
yeah.
No, listen here. It doesn't matter who started it. It's who popularized it, and you guys did that. So
That's true.
No,
give me the middle fingers. I walk away. Man.
No, I remember the first day I remember it happening. I remember Jay Riddle getting called an anti-Semite by one of their fans.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
It escalated real quick.
There's
That
a
got out
couple.
of
There's
hand.
a couple of Atlanta City fans that troll me every time Atlanta United uses. I don't know how any Orlando City
Ooh,
fan can.
I
talk
do
any-
remember when it happened, and you're right. It was. You're absolutely right.
Well,
it was definitely Mouths of the South, and I'm glad you went back and said something.
No, I didn't look it up or anything. I just like I'm pretty sure we said. Never mind. Forget it.
Oh, so now I'm second guessing myself again. This is the worst. You guys need to figure out who do you want to be. Who started this shit? Because we're gonna end it right now.
No, don't end it. Keep it going. No. So this begs a question that you see in the Atlanta United Facebook page. It's
That's gonna start a war one day.
yeah.
That Facebook page is gonna start a
That
war.
Facebook
one day.
page is going to start a war, and one of the wars was whenever somebody posted that Teespring campaign for the Orlando's Not the South shirt. A lot of people were like, "This is not a real rivalry. We haven't even played them
Yeah,
yet. This is forced.
that's just
This
silly.
is this is
That guy needs to go back to bed.
kidding.
marketing ploy or whatever."
Started by the fans.
Yeah, started by the fans. Like how much more grassroots can you get about a rivalry than fans initiating it through
No, dude, I'd rather it be like
a big corporate deal?
fucking
Yeah.
Red Sox,
Yeah,
Yankee.
exactly.
Well, they're legitimate rivalry, but you know what I mean. It's amplified so much more by the press than
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
So yeah, Orlando. What are we? Less than a month now. One more week closer.
Are you going down to the game?
I don't know yet. I'm scared.
Anybody know that?
Because
The past
Here's
5
the
weeks
thing.
out of Orlando, I'm getting less and less scared. That's for sure.
Do you
Yeah,
think you
but-
think Kyle Aaron's sober? You think he'll be sober by then? You think he's
that's
come off of
mean.
that 0.187?
We should have him on an episode of the show. We'll make sure he's good.
God, come up with some different name. Have him on this show. Like do a switcheroo on him.
Exactly.
Say you're an Atlanta City podcast or something like that.
Whatever. Mouse of South's got that kind of draw. We'll just swap us out. Last minute.
No, I'm getting scared though, and it almost makes it worse that it's back to back because it's better if you win. You want to win the second game. If I had to choose which one to win, you want to win the second game. You want to win the one at home.
Yes,
If you have to lose at home, fine. Or
I
sorry,
just-
if you have to lose away, fine. But win at home.
I just want to end up 2 and
gotta
1.
find a way to-
If we're gonna lose one, I would rather lose 1 than 2. You know, if we can at least
Yeah.
end the season, played them 3 times and won 2 and lost 1, I can live with that.
I mean, I'm just scared of I'm not scared of the backlash. I just don't want to deal with the backlash.
Oh, I don't
of
give a
us
shit.
losing.
I
No,
don't
that's
care.
that's the thing.
That's
the thing.
where I'm good. That's
You-
where I'm great at this.
Like I'm gonna if that game doesn't go our way, and look, here's something I think every Atlanta United fan, every Atlanta sports fan should just embrace. It's that power of the dread. If you start talking as if your team is gonna lose, your team is gonna find a way to do something amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
this is the
What do
first-
we do? We're like, yes, we're gonna win, and then somehow Atlanta sports guy
Yeah.
just take a massive
Yep.
dump on us.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
This is the first Atlanta team I've ever been a fan of, and it's just because it came.
I don't know,
it came
man. That
into play.
first year that I moved here with the Braves was just such a great.
I grew up
lineup.
hating the Braves, so I guess I'm
just-
an Indiana sports
And
fan.
Falcons
so
had
I
such
know,
a great
I know what
season.
losing is like. I mean,
Embrace
Tom Brady.
the power of the dread.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't act like you're gonna beat these teams. I honestly think you're gonna lose,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
your team will surprise you, and you'll be happy. You'll be better off. You'll be happier for it.
That's true.
I hear this a
That's
lot.
true.
You like so this is more serious. Whenever you're defending free speech, you got to do it whenever you got to defend free speech whenever it's easy, and then especially whenever it's hard and the other person's. You gotta talk shit when it's easy, and you gotta keep talking shit when it's hard.
Exactly.
Talk shit when you're winning.
Exactly.
Talk even more shit when you're losing.
What's that?
Yeah.
Speaking of which.
No. So a couple points in the YouTube chat talking about DC being our rival.
No.
We do have 2 losses to them already.
Yeah.
To the
Yeah.
worst fucking team in the East.
They can have that rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't care.
They can have
Does anybody else want to punt Luciano Acosta?
He is small like a football.
Whoa, Jay Riddle getting turned.
Jeez.
I'm bringing a giant bagel to the home match versus Orlando and tweeting a photo.
No.
of it.
No. No.
To that
No.
Orlando, Puerto Rico.
Do what everyone else does and just steal their seats. Do what everyone else does and steal their seats.
So little backstory. So the moment that I was talking about whenever Jay got called an anti-Semite. So this was like the origin. I think it was Eric or whoever was manning the Mouths of the South talking shit to Orlando fans. I think I want to see. It wasn't a Matt Doyle.
Oh, was it?
article.
Was it me that started? Because I run the Twitter account for Mouths of the South. Was it me that started this?
I think it
There
was.
was a group discussion that was going on. I think it was
Because
based.
that's what started
it was
us
based-
talking
yeah.
about it on the show. So I think you're right.
It was like an MLS soccer article by somebody saying, Atlanta or the South finally has a team to call their own.
Yeah. I
And
remember that.
this guy, I can't remember his name. I don't want to do justice to him on Twitter, but he was talking all kinds of shit. And Jay started talking shit. He's like, "Oh, somebody shit on this guy's bagel this morning." He's like, "I'm Jewish. What are you trying to say?" And Jay's like, "Bagels are delicious."
Oh, Jay just comes out with a big poop emoji, bagel emoji.
I was like, "Damn!" To appropriate bagels for
5 stripes with poop emoji and bagels side by side.
So for real, it sounds like we are gonna. I mean, it sounds like there's gonna be a tifo whenever Orlando comes. That is something akin to Orlando's not the South.
That's the only thing that can happen.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it's
Yeah.
just a massive tifo of hashtag Orlando's in the South,
Yeah. I'm psyched.
I mean, what else do you need? That's it.
We need to have
Start the movement.
we need to have the
not
mom,
just the hashtag, the movement.
Yeah.
we need to have the mom from our show yelling on the left, and then the mouth from Mouths of the South yelling on the right.
Oh, yes.
Take it to Terminus Legion, take it to Resurgence, and run
Oh,
with
that's
it.
happening.
And their
Just go.
speech bubbles going up, and it's
Oh, my God. This is going to be great.
yeah.
Start working on this now.
Yeah.
Get a large scale format for it. Just like that big Martinez head that's out in the
Oh, yeah.
supporter section. Get a big HB4D and a big Mouths of the South out there. Yes, I love it.
You said that game was a month away?
Yeah. Less than a month now. It's the 21st, and then we played them on the 29th at home. So we got Columbus Crew this Saturday at 7:30, playing them there. We got a couple predictions online. Oh, first of all, before we get there, predictions from last week. Timmy, you were the closest. You said 4-1 Atlanta. Well done. Dan.
I would have I would have got it right if it weren't for Tim Howard.
Actually, probably right. honestly.
Yeah, no kidding.
Any other goalkeeper, that's a different score.
No kidding. Dan said 2-1 Colorado, and I had a 2-2 draw. So going into Columbus this week, we've had a few predictions on YouTube. Let's let those keep coming in. I just got to scroll up to catch up.
Let us know your guys'
them.
predictions.
Jay is bouncing off, but he said 2-1 Columbus this week.
Who's this William McKinney? He's like retracting every message he puts in here.
I don't know, dude. He's my drinking buddy, so I'm not gonna hate on him.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, William.
Pierce Hicks says 1-1. Dean Worley says 1-1.
Salmon says 3-2 Atlanta.
Yeah. First of all,
How does anyone have any confidence in this team
which?
on the road?
Yeah, no
Atlanta
kidding.
United.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
come on.
kidding.
He's
No kidding.
inadvertently retracting his message.
It must be bad.
Danny Hernandez, new listener, new viewer, 2-1 Atlanta.
Brittany S 3-1 Atlanta.
William McClaney, another 3-1.
I don't see us putting up a 3-1. I'm gonna say another draw this week. I am going 1-1.
I'm going 2-1. And if Mir starts, I'm gonna go.
If Mir starts,
I'm going 3-2 to Columbus.
I'm going. Yeah.
I go 2-1 to Atlanta if we have Bloom or Lloyd or
If
Walks on the right.
Mir starts, I change mine to 2-1.
That's it. We're gonna have 2 predictions from now on.
So what was your what do we name that? AM, like after Mears,
Yeah.
before Mears?
A BM,
A BM.
a bell.
What did you
Do
say if Mears starts? 3-1 Columbus?
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll say 2-1.
All right, Joseph. We're all assuming Joseph Martinez is starting and fully healthy and 100% rested.
Who?
Joseph Martinez.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
Almiron.
absolutely. I think
Almiron.
everybody's back.
Just Emil, Tito on the wing, I guess.
I think Gressel's on the wing.
No, I think you keep Tito over there.
Okay.
For now.
See that I'm optimistic with the rest.
William, go home.
You're
You're drunk.
With the fact that they took the week off, but they need this win. I mean, San Jose is in turmoil, kind of. This is the win you got to have. This is not a must win, but it's as close to a middle of the season must win as you can get.
Especially considering where we are in the
On the road.
Especially where we are. Like securing a win this weekend could put us
huge.
really, really well.
You could be sitting in fourth if everything goes your way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it kind of keeps pushing Columbus down.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Columbus is a dangerous team. Let's not forget who they have starting up front. I mean, they have a crazy good attacking front.
This is the weekend. All right, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go against what my brain is telling me. This is the weekend the 3-1 curse gets reversed. Columbus has allowed the most goals in the Eastern Conference. I'm saying 3-1 Atlanta.
Wow, bold prediction.
All right,
That's with Mir starting.
I don't care.
That's AM and BM.
Let's see. What else have we had come trickle in?
A lot of somebody said 9-1 Columbus if Mir starts.
Go home. You're drunk. Please, Joseph Martinez also in starting. Let's see here.
San Jose will score a big fat bagel.
Jay Riddle's going to bring his own tifo to it.
Yeah,
I can tell you what it's going to be.
We will score 11 goals on the 4th. San Jose
I guess we're not. I guess
a big fat bagel.
I guess we're not going to have a show before the 4th of July game.
Oh, that's true. Andres Castro says 1-0 Atlanta United.
I would love another 1-0 because that to me would just mean that we're getting better in defense.
Adeline City Light says 2-0 Atlanta.
I don't know if last week was better defensively. I mean, Colorado Rapids don't really have an attack.
True.
So it was 11v Tim Howard.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you're off on the 4th, right? We're all off on the 4th.
Yeah.
I'll be at the game.
Maybe we could figure something out to do pregame, maybe on the 4th. We can talk about it off air.
Yeah.
That said, in case we don't.
You guys are slacking. No iTunes review this week. Disappointed.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed.
No, but for real, for those of you guys watching, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can join in with us every week.
They eventually died down. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. It was great. You guys made us feel so special. And then you ripped away Orlando is not the South from us by a co-host and no reviews. I'm just going to go crawl in a corner.
I think and next week we're gonna announce we've been acquired by
We've been bought out. That's where Dan is. He's starting the
He's talking to Rob right now for the buyout.
He's the one that's had the most comments on the review, so that's the first they wanted to jump shit. He's got an interview right now with Mouse of the South. Oh man.
Jeez.
All right, so I think that's going to just about do it for us. Thanks for checking us out wherever you found us at. You can find us all on Twitter. You can find Eric specifically all over the place, either on Twitter independently or with Mouths of the South. Where can they find you at?
At Eric G. Quintana, Quintana. And the Mouths of the South is at MOTS Podcast. Yeah, that's it. And Dirty South Soccer at Dirty South Sock, SOC.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It's
no problem.
Awesome.
It's always fun.
Tim, where can they find you at?
Find me at Tim Herb.
As always, you can find me at The Architect. That's at _ARC. The number 1, TECT. Collectively at Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B and the number 4. Check out gethomebeforedark.com. We love the hell out of you guys. Thanks for checking us out. As always, be home before dark.